reality. We are here to understand it at a deeper level and to see how the world you experience is shaped from within. So this is a place for clear thinking, practical wisdom, and inner growth. Not abstract philosophy, but something you can actually test in your daily life. On this channel, we explore ideas that help you understand your mind, improve your decisions, and build a more stable inner state in a constantly changing world. We focus on real transformation, not motivation that fades, but insight that sets and quietly reshapes how you see yourself and everything around you. So today's session is based on the work of Xue Mo, a contemporary Chinese writer whose books combine literature, psychology, and deep reflections on human consciousness. His writing is not about belief systems, it is about observing the mind, understanding patterns, and learning how perception shapes reality. The core idea we will explore today is simple but powerful. The world you experience is not separate from your mind. It is a reflection on it. So if your mind is unstable, the world feels chaotic. If your mind is clear, the same world begins to make sense in a complete different way. This is not theory. It is something you can observe in a real time through your reactions, your emotions, and your interpretation of events. So in the next part, I will go directly into the original text, and from where there we will expand it in a way that connects to modern life and global perspectives. So the first topic I want to share is the discrimination mind is the source of all evils. Many of our troubles arise from attachment to the self. This attachment, known as egoism, is the belief that there exists an external, eternal, unchanging I in this world. Egoism, also referred to as selfishness, is the habit of using I as the standard to measure everything in the world, focusing all effects on maintaining I and mine. For example, some people sacrifice the interests of others to maintain their own. Some derive from other families to protect their family's interests. Some infringe upon other nations to safeguard their country's interests. Egoism is the foundation of greed. Those attached to the self believe that everything is mine, considering themselves the protagonist of the world, desiring to use all things for me and evaluating all matters based on my feeling. So I see many new friends here. Please subscribe to our channel. And good to have you here. This is not just a live stream, it's more like a space to think together. So if you're just joining, you didn't miss the point. We are just getting into it. And you can subscribe to our channel. This is a space for self-growth. So welcome. Please subscribe to our channel and follow up. And every day we are updated daily wisdom on our channel, and also the traditional wisdom from Dao De Jing and through the works of Xue Mo. So many of our troubles do not come from the world itself, but from the way we are attached to the idea of I and mine. We assume there is a fixed, independent self that must be protected at all costs. And this assumption quietly shapes every decision we make. Once the mind builds this center and called I, everything else becomes secondary, and the world turns into something to compare, control, and defend against. This is where conflict begins, not because reality is hostile, hostile, but because the mind is constantly measuring everything against itself. So when I becomes the standard, fairness disappears because everything is filtered through personal benefit, personal emotion, and personal preference. And this is why people are willing to sacrifice others, justify harmful actions, or even create division at larger scales, all in the name of protecting the self. Hi, I see some familiar names here and also the new friends here. Thank you for your time. We are not chasing quick answers here. We go a little deeper each time, and we are building something inside yourself. So let's continue. And ego is not just a personality trait; it is a lens that distorts how we see reality and how we relate to everything around us. The stronger this attachment becomes, the more the world is divided into for me and against me. And the more tension we create internally, and once that division takes over, even neutral situations begin to feel threatening. Because the mind is always trying to defend an imagined identity. What we call greed is simply this attachment expanding outward and trying to claim more, control more, and secure more for the self. But the key point is this: the self we are protecting is not as solid as we believe, and yet we build our entire life strategy around it. And the moment we begin to question this, the structure of many of our problems starts to loosen. And that is where clarity begins, not by changing the world, but by seeing through the illusion we have been holding on to. Hi, if something makes sense to you, you can drop a like or subscribe to our channel so more people can see this. And thank you for your support. Okay, let's continue the book. The world is a reflection of the mind by Xue Mo. And this book is available on Amazon. Consider this sample. In the past, the Japanese coveted China's vast lands and abundant resources, leading them to launch a war of aggression against China. This resulted in the massacre of numerous Chinese people, leaving deep scars on countless families. To the Chinese, this was a brutal atrocity. Yet Japanese history books depict this war in a tragic yet heroic light. From the Japanese perspective, the war was launched to ensure survival for their descendants. It was a product of patriotic fervor. Hi, um, I'm from China, and we are introducing the works by the Chinese writer Mr. Xue Mo. Xue Mo has written over 80 titles, and his works have been translated into 28 languages. Um, Today we are sharing the book "The World is a Reflection of the Mind." So follow up. In times of conflict, different sides often interpret the same event in completely opposite ways. One side may see it as aggression and suffering, while the other may frame it as necessity or survival. For those who suffered, the experience is remembered as pain, loss, and injustice that cannot be ignored. Yet, from another perspective, the same actions may be justified as protection or national interest or further security. This contrast shows that what we call reality is often filtered through identity, belief, and attachment. So, what we call reality is often filtered through identity, belief, and attachment. You can share your opinions. Yes, you can share your opinion about this topic. So what we call reality is often filtered through identity, belief, and attachment. So when mind is attached to collective identity as my nation or my people, it can justify actions that would otherwise be questioned. At that point, the discriminating mind divides the world into us and them, and conflict becomes almost inevitable. What is important here is not to judge history again, but to see the mechanism of the mind behind it. The same pattern exists in daily life, just on a smaller scale, in our relationships, decisions, and reactions. When we strongly identify with I or mine, we begin to reshape reality in ways that protect that identity. And once that happens, clarity is lost because we are no longer seeing things as they are, but as we need them to be. Okay, let's continue. Another sample is James Khan, who invaded many other countries, watering foreign soil with the blood of their people. But to the Mongolians, this tyrant was a hero of his time, even lauded by Chairman as proud son of heaven. This narrow view of morality is appalling because those who uphold it often choose to sacrifice others for their own interests whenever they clash with the interests of others. This I refers to oneself and the groups closest to oneself. My country, my nation, my city, my family, myself. This powerful discriminating mind divides me from the outside world. Almost all spiritual practices aim to reverse this tendency, as all human conflicts are rooted in the discriminating mind. This mind leads to greed, hatred, and ignorance, which in turn give rise to wars, slaughter, degeneration, and the six realms of the rebirth. My voice, because maybe I got a cold just now because it is very warm inside the house, and outside it is very cold, and so never mind. So throughout history, powerful empires have expanded through conquest, often bringing savor to those they defeated. For those who suffered, these figures are remembered as destroyers associated with loss, violence, and trauma. Yet within their own cultures, the same figures are often honored as leaders, heroes, or symbols of strength and unity. This contrast is not about who is right or wrong, but about how the mind constructs reality based on identity and attachment. When we identify strongly with my group, whether it is a nation, a culture, or a family, our sense of morality begins to shift. What benefits us starts to feel justified, even if it causes harm to others. This is what we call a narrow view of morality, where truth is replaced by preference and objectivity is replaced by attachment. At the center of this pattern is the idea of I, not only as an individual, but as an expansion into my people, my country, and my site. So once this identification expands, the world is divided into inside and outside, us and them. And this division is the root of most human conflicts because it turns difference into opposition. Hi, welcome. Thank you for your message here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. So, what is the purpose of this universe? I think at an ultimate lev- level, there is no meaning for everything. But the meaning for your own life, the individual life is can create it by yourself. So you should find your own meaning of the life. So the discriminating mind, we are talking about the discriminating mind, does not simply observe differences. It assigns value, creates judgment, and feels emotional reactions. From this arise greed, the desire to take more, hatred, the urge to reject or destroy, and ignorance, the inability to see clearly. And when these forces operate collectively, they manifest as conflict, violence, and cycles of harm across societies. This is why many spiritual traditions do not begin by changing the world, but by examining the structure of the mind itself. Because unless this tendency to divide is understood and reversed, the same patterns will repeat again and again. Oh, glad to hear that. So you like um, Chinese books? Um, Xue Mo is a Chinese writer, so and what I am sharing now is the world is a reflection of the mind. So yes, you can search for Xuemo on Amazon. Xuemo, Xuemo. It is more easier to search Xuemo's name rather than the book's name. The world is a reflection of the mind. So you can search for Xuemo on Amazon for his books. And also, if you like Chinese editions, there are you can explore more of Xuemo's works on our online shop, shop.xuemo.com, shop.xuemo.com. So I see some familiar names here. Thank you. Welcome back. I feel blessing every day. Thank you. Today I'm drinking the white coffee. Hi, if you're new here, please subscribe to our channel. And if you're our new friend, old friends, you can double tap the screen and give me some likes for support. Thank you. Yes, I'm a blessed child. I find my teacher, Xuemo, and he's the life guide for me. So let's continue. Nevertheless, many remain unaware that The discriminating mind is, in reality, the source of all evils, allowing this narrow discriminatory moral perspective to dominate mainstream ideology. How to pronounce the ideology? Ideology, okay. As a consequence, vicious competition emerges in every corner of the world, and human relationships grow increasingly detached and indifferent. This mindset perpetuates tragedies in every era, every country, every family, and every moment, from the additional of toxic substances to food and drink to robberies, rapes, homicides, and domestic violence, from infants being used as ingredients in medicines to scams that rob retirees of their hard-earned savings. So beautiful words. Yes, these words are from the book The World is a Reflection of the Mind. So thank you for your kind words. So many people remain unaware that the discriminating mind is not a small habit, but a deep structure that shapes how we see and act in the world. When the mindset goes unexamined, it slowly becomes the default way of thinking, not just for individuals, but across entire societies. And over time, this leads to a narrow form of morality, where decisions are driven more by self interest than by clarity or responsibility. In such an environment, competition intensifies, not as healthy growth, but as constant comparison, pressure, and the need to outdo others. As this pattern deepens, relationships begin to lose warmth, becoming more transactional, more guarded, and more distant. When people see others primarily through the lens of useful or threatening, genuine, genuine connection becomes harder to sustain. At an extreme level, this mindset can contribute to harmful behaviors where the well being of others is ignored or undervalued. So we can see this in everyday life. Still some interrupting buffering in life, but it is better, right? These days, better these days, right? You can uh, still enjoy the live session. Uh, As a little. Actually, it's about the network. It's about the network. So I say we can see this in everyday life, in dishonest practices, exploitation, and decisions that prioritize short-term gain over long-term integrity. Oh, broken sentences. Sorry. Okay. You know, no, it's not about device, but it is because of the network. Like we are over, the traffic. It is like the traffic jam. When we build this special internet that is supported by the government, we are originally we only have three hosts, and only three hosts, and you know, one device, one channel, and every day we are doing the live stream three live sessions and three hosts. And after that, we have many colleagues. They join to the overseas live session, and we like 24 hours, 7 days a week, and it's overloaded. So it's about the network. So just 3 days ago, we decided to just keep only, 3 or 4 hosts on the channel doing the live stream. So the network is better now. But I think it takes time to get recovered. So Mr. Xue Mo is now in the United States, and he will back back around end of April. Hi, I see many familiar names here. Glad to see you. Thank you for your time. So it can also appear in more serious forms of harm when empathy is lost and people are reduced to objects or obstacles. What matters here is not to focus on specific cases, but to recognize the underlying pattern that allows such actions to arise. The root is always the same: a mind that divides, judges, and prioritizes itself without awareness of its own distortion. If this pattern is not understood, it continues to repeat itself across time, culture, and scale, from small daily interactions to larger social systems. Okay, let's continue. We are all aware of the pervasive darkness in society. We all despise this shadow, but so few step forward to become a beacon of true goodness. Many people don't even realize they are part of this darkness. The majority are overly preoccupied with personal gains and losses, excessively cherishing the self in their minds. They seldom reflect on how their words and actions affect the outside world, often taking everything for granted. Goodness involves considering others while thinking of oneself. Great goodness, however, means setting aside one's own expectations to prioritize others. Without overcoming this attachment to the self, it is hard to truly embody great goodness. So we all recognize that there are problems in society, and we often criticize what we see as unfair, selfish, or harmful. But what is less obvious is that the same patterns we criticize outside often exist quietly within ourselves. I can see it clearly from my my own self and my situations and the events happening in my everyday life, that the same phenomena and the same event, actually two persons will see this phenomena in two perspectives. We are viewing the world with our filtered lens, right? So that is what's called the world is a reflection of the mind. So it is easy to point out darkness in the world, much harder to recognize how we may be contributing to it in subtle ways. And most people are deeply focused on personal gain and loss, constantly measuring what benefits them and what does not. This constant self-referencing becomes so normal that we rarely question it or even notice it. So, as a result, we act, speak, and make decisions without fully considering how they affect others or the larger environment. In this sense, awareness is the beginning of change, because without seeing clearly, there is no real transformation. What we call goodness is not just avoiding harm, but actively taking others into account while making choices. It means expanding the boundary of concern beyond the self, even in small, everyday situations. A deeper level of goodness goes further. It is the ability to loosen the grip of self centered expectations when they conflict with the well being of others. So, uh, so I hope better, drink more water, yes. So, this is not about self denial, but about seeing that the rigid attachment to I is often the source of tension and conflict. Without examining and gradually releasing this attachment, it is difficult to move beyond surface level goodness. And the moment this attachment begins to soften, a different way of relating to others naturally emerge. Hi, I see many new friends here. So we are talking about something about the discriminating mind. Discriminating mind. And good to have you here. This is not just a live stream about entertainment. It's more like a space to um, grow together. So please subscribe to our channel. Let's continue sharing the book. The world is a reflection of the mind. So, what exactly is the self? It is merely an exquisite illusion. Our bodies are constantly changing, and our thoughts and habits are also continually transforming due to life experiences. We are no longer the self of yesterday, nor even the self of a second ago. We may have grown tired of what we loved last year, even of those we once loved, and of a certain lifestyle we previously enjoyed. Our perspectives shift like clouds in the sky, changing their shapes from time to time. So, what exactly is the self that we are trying so hard to protect? When we look closely, it is not something fixed or solid, but a constantly shifting process. Our body is changing all the time. The cells are changing or renewing all the time, and the conditions evolving, and nothing remains exactly the same. At the same time, our thoughts, preferences, and habits are continuously shaped by our experiences. The person you were yesterday is already different from who you are today. In fact, even from one moment to the next, subtle changes are constantly happening. When you thank you for your message. lost in positive thoughts whenever. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kind words. Um, yes, our channel and the works of Xue Mo are nothing about religion. Okay, nothing about religion. It is the Xue Mo mythology, and they meet the human universal concerns. Thank you. Thank you for your kind word. Thank you for your time being here. So, what you strongly preferred before may no longer attract to you now, and people you once felt deeply attached to may no longer hold the same place in your life, right? Any of your experience can share? People you once felt deeply attached to may no longer hold the same place in your life. So even the lifestyle you once enjoyed can gradually lose its appeal. For me, myself, I from the age of 16, I travel alone and travel all around the world. But now, this lifestyle loses appeal to me. And I think life is short, and I'd like to um, introduce Xuemo's works and share the wisdom and insights from his works to the world. And this is the most meaningful thing in life. So back to our back to our topic. So what we call the self is not stable, but fluid and constantly reconstructed. Our perspectives are like clouds in the sky, forming, dissolving, and changing shape over time. Yet, despite this constant change, we still try to grab some fixed identity and defend it as if it were permanent. And this is where the illusion begins, not because the self does not exist at all, but because we misunderstand its nature. And once we see this clearly, the need to defend that rigid self begins to loosen. So let's continue. The world is a reflection of the mind by Xuemo. Clinging to one's foolishness and mistakes often stems from the belief in an eternal, unchanging self in this world. Am I smart? Are they satisfied with my work? Do they like me? Can I get more opportunities? Do I stand out from others? We continuously craft an illusory image, mistaking it for the real me. We incessantly require others to understand and accept us. To seek their approval, we frequently adjust our viewpoints, even engaging in activities against our wishes. Why? Because we fear loneliness. We need to be loved, although some with the awareness and courage of independent thinking dare to reject the world. They may fall into another trap, arrogance. They perceive themselves as superior to others, still clinging to that seemingly real self. So the world you experience is deeply shaped by your mind. Yet most of the time we don't recognize. how it is constructed. We hold on to our mistakes, our insecurities, and our self-image because we believe there is a fixed me that must be protected. And from that belief, a constant stream of questions arises in the mind. Am I good enough? Do people like me? Am I being recognized? Do I stand out? Do I belong? These questions seem natural, but they are actually part of a system that keeps reinforcing the illusion of solid self. They begin to build an image of ourselves, carefully shaping how we appear in the eyes of others. Yes, the image of I. And slowly we mistake that image for who we truly are. Because of this, we started needing others to confirm that image and to agree with it and to validate it. We adjust our behavior, our opinions, and even our values to just fit into expectations. Right? Yeah, mind is responsible for everything. So for the true freedom for your life, actually, the first step is to train your mind and abiding the true mind, not the default mind. And how to first you need to master your mind, then you can master your destiny. Otherwise, um, your destiny can hardly being being changed, or are like driven by the karma energy. Yes, we know what to do, but we just cannot control ourselves. Like so, is a like there is a pattern in your life that is repeating again and again. And first, you need to be aware of that. Then you need some certain training every day, and then we can master our mind, then master our destiny. Right? And how to train your mind, master your mind, and thus master your destiny. First, you can start reading the book. The world is a reflection of the mind, and then a more practical one, reclaim the throne of your heart, both by Xue Mo. So you can search for Xue Mo on Amazon, Xuemo Xue Mo on Amazon for these two books. The world is a reflection of the mind. It is more about philosophy and the logic and the perspective. And this one is more about the practical process, how to master your mind. So the world is a reflection of the mind and also reclaim the throne of your heart by Xuemo. So you can master your mind, thus master your destiny. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, and thank you for your kind words. So we adjust our behavior to fit into expectations. And sometimes we say things we don't fully believe or do things we don't truly want, simply to be accepted, right? I see many people around me are like this. They do things they don't truly want, just to be accepted. And many Chinese people will do that. I think Western people may be more self-centered and they express themselves. But Chinese people, but maybe at some level, all of us or acting to be accepted. And at the core of this pattern is a simple but powerful fear, the fear of being alone or rejected. We want to be seen, we want to be valued, and we want to be loved. For me, it is still very important to be seen, to be valued, and to be loved by my teacher. Yes. So even those who reject the social expectations and claim independence can fall into another form of attachment. They may begin to define themselves as different, superior, or above others. But this is still the same pattern, just expressed in a different direction, a different form, right? And the attachment to the self is still there. Only now it is strengthened through comparison rather than approval. So whether we seek validation or reject it, as long as we are centered around a fixed identity, the illusion remains. And seeing this clearly is the beginning of real freedom. Hi, thank you for your kind words. I am not the one who is intelligent. I am actually reading Xuemo's work, and all these things are based on Xuemo methodology, not me. I'm just like a bridge or messenger. I'm just a messenger. Oh, thank you. Yes. Hope everyone can wish for the peace and love in this world. Okay, thank you. Peace and love. Wish for this world. Actually, at this time we can have a very energetic sound. Peace and love. The singing bell from Nepal. So you can slow your breath with the sound. Yeah, let's enjoy the moment.